Welcome to the MVP Show. Full show notes for this episode can be found at nz365guy.com/345. Before we chat with today's guest, here's a quick message from our sponsors. Today's show is brought to you by the 90-Day Mentoring Challenge. So far, people have attended this program from 34 countries from around the world. Wherever you're located, this is an opportunity to invest in your career. If you want to be mentored in the next 90-Day Mentoring Challenge, please go to nz365guy.com/mentoring. Now, let's get on with the show. Today's guest is from India. He's a freelance Microsoft Power Platform consultant and solution advisor. He's in his first year of being an MVP. He enjoys, and I love this, traveling, binge watching Netflix, who doesn't? Trading cryptocurrency, political satire, talking about trends and future of autonomous vehicles in context of security and surveillance, aside from blogging and creating content on the Microsoft Power Platform. Wow, I love that. His Twitter account is Yash Agarwal 1651. That was the year he was born, 1651. And his blog site is bythedevs.com. Yash, welcome to the show.
Hey, Mark, how are you?
Good. Did I get your year of birth, 1651, correct? Or was that just out a bit?
That's a little too old for me,
Wow, how's things going with you?
Pretty much good, I guess. I mean, we've been all in COVID, so seeing that, it's good.
Now, a couple of months ago or so, we heard a lot of bad stuff about COVID in India. How's things going now? As in, are you having a bit of a respite or a reprieve from it? How's things going?
I think the condition is getting improved now. It was very bad the last month, the number of cases and the new diseases in complement with COVID coming on. But now I think things are going good.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's good. It's good it's improving. Yeah. Crazy time it's been for so many, but particularly you guys, in more recent days. Anyhow, before we get underway and understand a bit about your MVP journey, tell me a bit about your family. What's your favorite food in the region of India you're based in, and what do you do for fun?
Sure. So I'm actually based in Hyderabad. It is towards the south of India. And my family, basically, there are a lot of interesting facts about my family. I belong to a joint I was staying in a joint family until the last, 4 or 5 years ago. And you'll be surprised that we were about 150 people living in the same house.
Hang on a second. How many people?
150.
Wow. Mind-blowing.
Yeah. So my grandfather's father had 8 sons, and then my father has 3 brothers, and the family tree came down like that. And in my generation, it's like I have a brother and a sister, so it was a huge family. But as it was expanding, so people kept splitting out, and here we are now.
Wow, that is mind-blowing to me. Mind-blowing. It's a big extended family. What's if we were to go out to dinner where you are, what would you suggest that we ate?
I love paneer. I'm a vegetarian, so basically paneer is the only complement you find here, or I'll say supplement you find here for any food. So I love paneer, and then I like pizza and pasta. So I like Italian food and paneer. Yeah.
So paneer, as in, is that a plant, or is that actually a dish that you make?
So paneer is basically the Indian version of tofu. It's cottage cheese, and then you put that in curries and biryani and all that.
Yeah. Okay. Makes sense. Very good. Okay. So from the intro, I see that you are into trading cryptocurrency, and I see right now Bitcoin is sitting at 37,487, which has gone up since about, I don't know, this morning when I got up, it was about 33, 34. When you say trading in crypto, are you just buying and holding, or are you actually, buying and selling crypto all the time?
I was buying and selling, but now I'm buying and holding. Earlier it was just, getting into anything based on market trends and all that. But now actually I'm learning how to better do it, learning, visualizing those charts and finding all those points where you should get in and where you should get out and all that kind of stuff. But
So you're developing some diamond hands?
not like that, not like that. I'm just kind of holding some bags into some technologies that I truly believe will prosper in the next couple of months or years at least.
Mm-hmm. Have you had any big wins in crypto?
In a few of those. So there's one called Anchor, ANKR, and there's one XTZ, which is Tezos. So these two, Anchor, I've already had a good a good profit, and in Tezos, I hope it will be much better in the next few months.
Wow. Well, you hear of stories that people have, and I always find that if you look at things statistically, that once somebody tells you a story about some event happening, you can't really go out and copy it because the likelihood of you getting the same results. But just the weekend before last, I had a friend in the US, someone, friend of his, colleague, that type of thing, said to him, listen, there's this great opportunity in crypto, and new currencies coming out. You can get in on the ground floor. And straight away, when he's telling me the story, I'm like, red flag, there's a warning here. Like, this sounds like he's going to get scammed.
Yeah, it happens most of the times. Then, I mean, also there are so many shit coins. Like, people are thinking that it is like an overnight millionaire kind of thing, but it's not like that.
This is the crazy thing. So he decides he's going to put in $5,000 US, right? And so he then gets a message when the market was going to open or the currency was going to become available, and they're like, oh, sorry, there's delays. And the delays went on for most of the day. And he was like, oh, this sounds like something's dodged, right? And anyhow, he kept trying to place his $5,000 into the coins, and he was able to get it in. And at the end of the day, he had made 125,000 US in one day. And I said to him, hang on a second, mate. Like, did you get your coin out? Like, he goes, well, I've pulled out $80,000 back into my bank account. And he goes, yeah, the rest I'm leaving in there. And I'm like, wow, that's one of those stories that you're just like, too good to be true. But, once again, it's probably an outlier or a random event that he did so well, being that he had never, ever touched Bitcoin prior to that day.
That's pure luck, I would say.
Beginner's luck right there, right? How's that? 5,000 to 125. Wow. So what got you into crypto?
Initially, actually, in 2016 or so, I was kind of working on establishing a company here in India for security and surveillance in gated communities. And at that point of time, we were trying to build a technology based on crypto based on blockchain, actually, that would help us, make it better for people. So that got me into blockchain, and then that got me into crypto.
Right. So have you looked at any of this stuff on Azure around blockchain?
Actually, at that time, we were doing it based on Ethereum blockchain only and kind of trying to create smart contracts and all that, but it didn't work out for us because the amount of time it required for development and then our own effort to learn that and do it, it was really, really too much for us at the point.
Yeah. And before we get into your power platform journey, tell us about autonomous vehicles and why you're worried from a security perspective about them.
Not worried actually. When I was in my college, we had a lush green campus. It was really huge, and it was kind of a gated, like consider gated communities as areas which are secured by gates, and you can have vehicles roaming freely inside. Like airports are there. We have residential townships and all that. And based on some studies, there were a lot of deaths and accidents happening over there due to overspeeding vehicles or people not following the traffic rules within the community, because people keep walking, people are always on the roads and all, and if some accident happened, they were not able to reach out to the emergency services in due time. So what we did is we created an IoT based solution that would convert a normal conventional vehicle to connected vehicles as soon as they entered this gated area. Basically, the security guard would hand over a device to the vehicle driver, and as long as they are there in that gated region, the moment they increase their speed from 20 kilometer per hour, they would get notification within the vehicle that they shouldn't overspeed, they should reduce their speed.
Mm-hmm.
And if they did that 3 times, we would notify the security that this person is overspeeding and they're not following the rules. So then when they exit, the the security guard can flag that vehicle and not allow them to enter again into that gated region.
Right.
So
Very,
through
very cool. Very cool.
yeah, so through that we were also kind of trying to expand into vehicle, you know, analyzing driver behaviors when they are in the gated region and all that. So it was a good project at that point of time, but it did not work out because the frequencies that we were trying to use were not freely available for use and all that.
Mm-hmm. So tell me, how did you get involved in the Power Platform? I see that you're a flownaut and an astronaut. How did your journey go?
So when I completed this part, I started actually with Azure, and then from Azure, I started working into Dynamics 365 sales. And from there, I mean, when I was working on Dynamics 365 sales, that was when I created my first flow. And being from a non-coding background, that was like a game changer that I felt at that point of time. So I learned flow very much. I loved it, and I spent my weekends initially learning how to create advanced flows and how to do a lot of things which were not directly available. And through that, I landed on the community forums when I was facing some issues, and then that I saw that people were actually helping other people. I didn't know the concept of flow nodes. I didn't know the concept of if there was something called as MVPs and all that. But then I started contributing on that community forum that when I faced problems, I was reaching there. But if other people were facing problems, they were also reaching there. So if I could help someone, that would be a good, satisfying point for me.
I like it. I like it. And tell me more though, as in, what are you doing now from a technology perspective? As in, what are your day-to-day work around the Power Platform?
Usually creating apps and creating flows. I focus more on RPA and Power Apps right now, and a little bit of Power Virtual Agents. So I help people modernize their apps which are already existing and using legacy systems, and build up some automation also over there. I'm also kind of helping some schools over here based in India to automate processes within the school infrastructure. So that's one. And apart from that, I kind of still there on the community forums and creating some content around Power Platform.
Have you always been freelancing through this period?
No, actually, I was working with AIS earlier, and then I got into freelancing.
Ah, yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, that totally makes sense. How did how about your blog, By the Devs? How did that come about?
So again, that came around in 2019, I believe, when I was working on when I was actually spending time on the community forums and solving issues. Then I realized that there were a lot of questions that were being asked which were on similar lines. So I thought whenever I was coming up with any innovative solutions, I should blog it and then directly share the links and all that. So that's how I started it.
So good. Such an interesting path that you've gone. Have you only ever worked in India, or have you worked for international companies?
I actually, when I was in college, I worked for a 6 month internship at Carnegie Mellon University's research lab in China. So that was where I did the electric vehicle thing. And then when I started working on Power Platform, I had a chance to deliver a workshop at the AIS US based company in the US, and also another workshop in Denmark with UNDP.
Wow, that's very, very cool. Very cool. What's your favorite thing, as in particularly from a technology? Are you, is it do you lean more to the flow or more to the app side of things?
Flow, definitely flow anytime.
Is that right?
Yeah, flow.
What about RPA from the desktop tool? Have you looked at that very closely?
Yeah, actually, before RPA with Power Automate, I was doing RPA with some other tools as well. And then when they released the Win Automation part, which was prior to the Power Automate desktop one, I got into that, and that was like really amazing in the opportunities and the possibilities that it unfolded. I am very fascinated by all of these.
Have you automated anything using Power Automate Desktop in your own life, like not like for a customer, but to make your life?
Not really. No, I mean the home plans came just recently, so I haven't had the time to experiment with it. But yeah, not for a personal automation. I haven't done much from that.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what people are going to do with it from a personal automation perspective. Not just in their home lives, but also their work lives. What could you do to make yourself more efficient and things like that? I think it's a big opportunity. So, how the MVP journey, how did that come about? How did you end up, transitioning from, learning everything about Flow and Power Apps and things like that to then being nominated? Tell us a bit about that process for you.
Yeah, so I mean, the point where I was actually starting working on Flow and I started responding to answers on the community forums. I did that for Flow and for Power Apps as well because that was the time I was learning the two things. And after a couple of months, I had answered enough questions and I fit into the criteria where I was promoted to a super user on both of these community platforms. And then after a couple more months, the other super users who were MVPs, they kind of noticed and they reached out asking, there's a program called as an MVP program. And if you wanted to be a part of it, we can nominate you and help you through that. So that's how it started.
Wow. And what's the impact been for you as in since you became an MVP?
So I see that it has opened a lot of doors for me. Earlier, I mean, my initial focus was also to bring technology to more people and have more users onboarded on the platform and see that, okay, no, it's not just code that you can use to create applications or automation. You can also just use your logic and use already available smart tools like Flow and apps to create these things. So I actually went to a couple of colleges here in India to demonstrate these and show them that you can also learn this within a short period of time, and the business application stream is expanding, so you can also find a lot of opportunities in there. So before I was MVP, I mean, I wouldn't get that big of a response, but then when I got MVP and then MCT, I mean, it opened the doors really well.
Wow, that's great. Are you using your MCT? Are you actually doing training?
Yes, occasionally, yes. I mean, I'm not getting too much of into it because I'm good with teaching the basic courses, but when it comes to advanced, I think I need to still focus on a few things from a personal learning perspective too.
Yeah. What's the future for you? If you had the opportunity to say exactly what was going to happen in the next, 1, 2, 3 years, where would you like to see yourself in 3 years' time?
I want to do I want to put half of my effort into training new talent, and then the other half into actually helping organizations digitally transform. But that's happening at such a fast pace now. So I just want to be a part of it.
I like it. Well, it's been, Yash, it's been absolutely brilliant talking to you. I always like to wrap up with some quick fire questions because we're coming up on our time. Are you ready for your questions?
Yes, sure.
Okay. What's the best hotel you've ever stayed in and why?
There was one in Denmark, the Hotel AC Bellaska. It's a part of Marriott. I just love the architecture. It was a huge hotel shaped like two shoes. It was pretty good. Yeah.
Awesome. What activity do you enjoy so much that it makes you lose track of time?
Binge watching Netflix, of course.
I was going to say, it's got to be the Netflix, right?
Yeah.
What were the 3 biggest turning points in your life where you kind of took different directions for you?
The first one, when I was joining college, I was uncertain if I should take computer science or electronics. So I just went with a hunch and got into electronics. The second one, after I graduated, should I stay into electronics or should I go into IT? So I got into IT. And then the third one is, should I continue into employment or do something that I like more and have more autonomy of what I do? So I got into freelancing. So yeah.
I like it. Wow. Such an interesting story. Yash, it's been great to have you on the show. We look forward to publishing this. Thanks again for coming on.
Great. Thank you so much, Mark. Thank you for having me.
Hey, thanks for listening. I'm your host, Business Application MVP, Mark Smith, otherwise known as the NZ365 guy. If you'd like to support this show, feel free to check out buymeacoffee.com/NZ365 guy. Thanks again and stay safe out there.